The What's Good podcast.
Are you ready?
Hey, ladies and gents, this is your girl Brianna Javon with What's Good Podcast Season 4, and we want to say thank you so much for tuning in with us today. Today we have an amazing guest. His name is Markus Cobb. Everyone say hey.
What's going on?
And as you guys and gals know, we do not have interviews. Instead, we have genuine conversations. So let's go ahead and get into it. If you guys have been listening, hey. If you guys are new, hey. But we always start off with icebreakers. So your icebreaker for today, what do you enjoy most about what you do?
What I enjoy most than anything is being able to interact with, my community. Our community is so vibrant, being able to really express my thoughts, being able to connect with my audience, being able to tell my story of, upbringing, the struggle, the hardship, the late nights, being able to just have a genuine conversation, definitely with my people is what I enjoy. Being able to just bring it to light, that's just enjoyable. I just love what I do.
Love that. All right, and so with that being stated, we're going to go ahead and get started with our genuine conversation.
Definitely.
As you guys know, we always start off with who is the guest of the day. So who is Markus?
Markus is definitely that, little known person that's, from, I'm just going to keep it 100.
Come on.
Definitely, I'm from Bmore.
I hear the accent.
Yes. And, being there, I'm just very proud that I came from Bmore. It's not the easiest, city, growing up. And I wouldn't say I was like in the hood, but I was close to it. And so growing up, it was just, I say things were good. I was blessed to have a good family. I was blessed to go to, good schools, definitely learn, from different peers, being able to own my craft at a young age.
Nice.
Going to high school, it was, that's when things really went into a good direction. I would say, really doing entrepreneurship, creating my first business, winning my first competition. My goodness. It's the Sodas for Less was my first business. And from there, my love for entrepreneurship grew. And I went on to college to really design, computers, really learn different softwares, graduated. And I had the dream of, really making a name for myself. So I decided to, take a chance and relocate. And so for me, I, decided to make the first, journey to Atlanta, Georgia. And, I had high hopes. I, wanted to start my company. I wanted to do this. I wanted to be in media. However, I was there for 9 months, but it was such a struggle. And from there, it was just kind of the downfall. And when we just talk about, the good, but we also got to really talk about the bad.
Yes, we do.
And so for me, I ended up, really losing a lot of things when I was, in Atlanta. My pretty much everything just went downhill. I wasn't able to find decent work. My dreams were just falling by the wayside. I didn't have anything. And so after that point, I decided to try it again and make a move to Texas. And so my first journey there was in Houston. And so things got maybe a little bit better, but I decided that I needed a little bit more experience. I worked at, odd jobs in restaurants and worked my way up, and I was proud of that. But it was more that needed to be done from me, from my perspective. And so I decided to get back into, computers and really, build that skill set that I had back in school. And from there, that's when, the creativity really started again. And I just very proud of that.
That's such a good story.
Yes, it's definitely more, but it's just, to keep
Just the
it.
surface.
Yeah, that's the surface. Yeah.
So I kind of want to rewind to the very first business that you had in high school.
Okay.
What was the inspiration for the business?
The inspiration was definitely just to, get my foot in the door,
Mm-hmm.
just to be able to collaborate with my classmates. And I was able to team up with a woman, that was in my class, and we
Mm-hmm.
created this business called Sodas for Less.
Mm-hmm.
So we created an entity, and we sold, different types of sodas, different flavors, for a low cost. And so the inspiration was, we wanted to be, a wholesale corporation where
Mm-hmm.
we wanted to have sodas and drinks that were low cost, that was affordable for college students and
Mm-hmm.
for high school students.
Mm-hmm.
And so we pitched that, and we wanted to be unique. So
Mm-hmm.
we just designed, flyers, we did, cans, we designed out cans.
Look at
And,
you.
and yeah, we did a bulletin board, and we once we got to the end, we
Mm-hmm.
pitched it to investors who came around and everything. And then the funniest thing happened, that it was a competition, but we won second place.
Mm.
And so the inspiration was to create something that was unique for, you know, people like us, people that were in high school that,
Mm-hmm.
just wanted alternatives that the cafeteria just wasn't selling.
Mm.
So we just wanted to be different.
I love it.
Yeah.
And so, when it came to sodas for less, what would you say would be one lesson from your very first business that you received?
I would say the one lesson that I've, received was to always know your numbers.
Mm, that's so
Definitely,
important.
yes, definitely know your research.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely do the research of, your competition,
Mm-hmm.
competition that's among you in the same group, whether it's inside the school or outside the school.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was just, the lesson, the takeaway from that. And we were able to do that. And so it was just, it's more than just creating the business aspect. You got to be able to do the homework. You got to be like, well, what's going to set you apart
Mm-hmm.
from the other business? What's going to distinguish you from your competition? So that was just very huge for us.
Love that.
Yeah.
So, with that being stated, you're in high school. You started very young as a
Yes.
business owner. Was that influenced because you maybe had family around that were entrepreneurs or business owners?
Yes. And I must say, to be honest, it really didn't come from the side of my mother's side of the family. It came from
Mm-hmm.
my father's side of the family.
Okay.
My uncle and aunt owned a cleaning business,
Okay.
and so I never knew that until I was able to sit down with them and talk about their journey of how they started at young. So they worked overnight and did cleaning for big corporations, and my aunt had made her own lotions and everything from scratch, body butters, different scents and flavors. And then my cousin owned definitely a food business, a food
Mm-hmm.
truck. So a lot of that came from definitely my father's side of the family, and it just rubbed on me because I knew that I thought different. I knew that I wanted to, do things that were just not the normal for most people.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that just didn't even come from, being able to just talking to them. It was just, I thought different.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of the inspiration came from just my thinking, but just a lot from them,
Mm-hmm.
even though I wasn't around them so much. And it was just, it was incredible to really have that skill.
Love it. All
Yeah.
right. So now we're in Texas,
Yes.
right? What was some of your planning before coming to Texas? Was it, I'm just going to start a business, or let me work my way up, like you mentioned in Atlanta? Or was it like, let me just start all over? When I get there, I'll figure it out?
I would honestly say, for so many years, it's always been starting the business.
Mm-hmm.
Because entrepreneurship was in my blood since high school. And I
Mm-hmm.
tell people that, every, chance I get.
Mm-hmm.
So the goal for coming to Texas was to really start the business.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, I started, working while I was building the business
Mm-hmm.
because I wanted to have that strong foundation. You needed that. But however, the goal was to really get this business going.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter how many times I failed,
Mm-hmm.
um, the inspiration was not just coming down here blind and not knowing where I wanted to go,
Mm-hmm.
because I felt like I did that when I was in Atlanta, and that
Mm-hmm.
was the mistake that I truly made.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't want to make that mistake again.
Mm-hmm.
So the strong point was to be able to definitely start the business,
Mm-hmm.
work my way up at the same time, but spend more time on the business because I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to grow that more than anything.
And with that being stated, for the listeners, some people just want to quit their jobs because they want to start a business. And I think you made a valid point as far as having a foundation. Can you explain to the listeners why that's important? Because for me, this is just my point of view when it comes to building that foundation. You can allow your 9 to 5 to pay for your passion
That's right.
until you're actually ready to leave your 9 to 5. Now, that's not everybody's story. God's journey for everyone is totally different. Because mine, it wasn't like that. It was like I had to go. But then I also see the importance. If I would have stayed there, things would have probably been much easier for me when I started my business. So for you, why is it important to have that foundation first before just leaving and starting your business and starting from scratch? Why was that so important to start your foundation?
From the very beginning, I would say that I didn't truly understand how important the foundation was
Mm-hmm.
until I would say 2, 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell people now more than ever that having that solid foundation, provided me the skills that I needed to own my business, to
Mm-hmm.
be able to handle difficult situations with
Mm-hmm.
clients, with customers, being able to distinguish between, finances, being able to give it to the right people. And I would have never known how to do that if I didn't have the foundation in place and just going into my business blindly and just
Mm-hmm.
making so many mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And so having that foundation taught me so many lessons. And I didn't learn those lessons until it was later when I made all the mistakes at the beginning. And so the foundation is so crucial to your success because you gain so much skills. And it doesn't matter what job you have, doesn't matter where you're at. You want to be the best you can be at that job or whatever you're doing. So
Mm-hmm.
that way you can transfer those skills to the next level and
Yes.
transfer it to your business.
Yes.
So with that, you're going to be able to come out stronger. You're going to be
Mm-hmm.
able to have more wisdom. You're going to be able to offer a lot more to
Mm-hmm.
the customer that you probably wouldn't have been able to do if you just went into it blindly. So
Mm.
that's so crucial. That's what I tell people.
That's a bunch of nuggets. That
Yes.
was real good.
Yes.
And so now, as far as the business, you said it. I want to do this for my business. I want to do that for my business. Let's talk about the business itself. You have your hands in a lot of things, as we discussed, right? Before
Yes.
press and play. And so I want to talk about those businesses, the things that you do have your hands in, and how did those come about? So if you want to talk about, because I wrote a couple of them down, Cobbomatic, you're an ambassador for Greenwood District clothing line. We've already talked about sodas for less. So
Yes.
let's talk about the different things that you're doing.
Now, the first company that I, really started, which is Cobblematic.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely a web design and, marketing firm. I felt like it was such a need, such a desire to have a design firm for, African Americans,
Mm-hmm.
a place where we can not just only design, the best, sites and everything, but we wanted to tell stories of local businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And so it wasn't just being another design firm. It was just more of being able to help local businesses get online and be able to tell a story that most people wanted to hear. I felt like a lot of it was missing in the African American community,
Mm-hmm.
and we just wanted to be set ourselves apart from all other design firms to really tell that story, being able to market effectively,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of those skills are not really taught to us. A lot of the skills that would make us successful online, are just not there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it could be easy access,
Mm-hmm.
but however, it's just not so many businesses in our community where we can just tell, how to do this, where should we go, where are the resources. So Cobblematic is really that foundation of why I created that business.
All right. And before we get started with the next one,
Yeah.
how did you create that name? I know it's your last name, but I want to
Yes.
hear the story behind it.
Cobblematic was definitely something that I wanted to be creative. It was represented who I was.
Mm-hmm.
Cobb was, my father's last name.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I carry that with me because unfortunately I lost him when I was 8 months.
Sorry for your loss.
And so being able to, have that name is just a strong, foundation for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was something that, made a statement for, where I came from. I was proud
Mm-hmm.
of that. And then Cobbomatic, which is the automatic, I wanted it to be like automatic, resources, automatic systems in place for tech. So that's where a lot of that came from. So being able to put that together, it was just represented me because I
Mm-hmm.
was just in that tech savvy mode. So Cobb just, fit, really the bill.
Yes, it does.
Yes.
Okay, one more thing before we move on to the next business venture. Um, how important, because I think it's important to me in my business, is it to have automation within your business?
Mhm.
People like, I don't want to pay money for this and I don't want to pay money for baby, if you get you some automation as far as systems, your life will run much easier. But coming from a tech person, because I can't speak on it, right? But from a tech guy, why would you say that is so important?
Automation is definitely the foundation of any business. It's not just for technology, it's for all businesses because in the world that we live in, your business is going to run on automation, regardless of what you do, whether you're in food, whether you're in, healthcare,
Mm-hmm.
whether you're in technology like I am. Automation is so important because when you have systems in place, it makes things not only just run smooth, but it makes this company grow at a faster rate. And I learned this, later on at, I would say about 2 years ago. And that was just really the primary focus for Cobbomatic because we wanted to be able to create automation, be able to have those tech skills that really brought so much to people at a faster rate because everything that people want, they want it so fast, they want it to come at huge speed.
Mm-hmm.
And so for automation, it's not just changing in our small businesses, but they're changing in corporations, huge ones.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see it in Amazon, you'll see it in UPS, and they're just replacing, a lot of people with these automation.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not getting with it now, it's going to be forced on you, whether regardless of what you do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just we had to make that our top priority.
Mm-hmm.
And I stress this to every business that automation should be your key focus when you're developing your business plan and developing the foundation of your business because
Yes.
it's going to make all the difference.
All the difference.
Yes.
I'm just saying. Okay,
Yes.
so on to the next business venture. What
Yeah.
else do you have your hands in?
I definitely have my hands in the foundation that I'm very proud of,
Mm-hmm.
which is the Greenwood District.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, this opportunity presented itself in my social media.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to just market myself effectively, and someone had dropped, an email saying that I would be a good representative for this brand. It's a clothing line,
Mm-hmm.
and so for the Greenwood District, a lot of people don't know the story. Black Wall Street was, such a huge thing back in the day, back in 1921 in
Mm-hmm.
Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, it was burned down by the race riots and everything. But now we're building it up strongly and better than ever because we want our Black Wall Street again. And so this clothing line was created 5 years ago. And so there's, a YouTube channel and everything. And we decided to create, this clothing of Black sayings, for Black women and Black men that represented Black business. We just felt like there was such a piece that was missing. Being able to represent our culture with Black businesses, giving compliments to Black women, giving compliments to us Black brothers who are doing our thing. And we can't stress enough that we just need that encouragement. We need that survival skill. It's just a lot that came from it. And we just create hoodies, we create, t-shirts, we create jerseys, everything. And so I was a proud ambassador for this clothing line. And I got one shirt on.
Come on, represent.
Yes, definitely. Is I'm proud to, represent, Black, brothers, but, for the Black women, they do their thing. And it's just, I'm proud of both of us for where we come from. Because we are so creative. We bring a lot to the table, and we need to bring that more. We need to build up our communities. And so we're just, really getting out there, marketing our clothing line. It's just, I'm very proud of it. So definitely, check us out, the Greenwood District, and definitely find out the story more. And it's just intriguing. We were just on CNBC.
Congrats.
Tulsa, Oklahoma, really talking about, the history, talking about, the clothing line, our Black issues. It's just, amazing. So I'm very thankful to be a part of that. So
That's so good.
yes, definitely.
All right, so I do want to take it back to Cobbomatic.
Yes.
When it comes to, the foundation is here, you got the company up and running, things are going well. At this point, you're like, I need some help, right? What does it look like to expand, if that means, creating more systems for your company, or at this point, hiring people to help you? Because at this point, you're trying to grow. So what does that mindset look like when you're ready to go to that next level?
For me, being able to go to the next level, I want to continue, and I started this from day one. I not only just I hired, two people to really set the foundation, set the tone for my company, but not just bring on more staff, but to be able to implement more marketing systems for us, being able to effectively get out there and set ourselves apart from other, marketing firms. But, in the Black community, we don't have enough, you know, marketing systems in place, that's going to really reach to our market. And so what it looks like for us is that we want to get more into helping other local businesses being able to market effectively, being able to teach them how to go from one direction to the next, being able to elevate. And so we don't just want to create the websites because anybody could honestly do that.
Right.
And so we kind of wanted to, definitely our goal is to shift to be in a system where we're educating people because we feel like our community can never have enough resources because it lacks. But we want to be that one-stop shop where people can come and not just get the website, but you get the marketing, you get the foundation, you get the automation, you get everything flows. And so that's where we want to see ourselves in like the next 5 years. So definitely.
Okay. And so when it comes to picking your clients or saying, hey, let's work together, what does the consultation look like to know what their needs are and how you can come in and help out?
For us, we like to sit down and be able to find out, where is what is where are they looking to go in a few years.
That's good.
And we want to paint the picture of like it's not just the website and just telling your story. Where's your ultimate goal, and where do you want to be like in the next say 30 days, 60 days. So we
Mm-hmm.
kind of plan it out, long term, because
Mm-hmm.
we feel like short term goals are good, but long term, you got to have that vision,
Yes, you
because there are going to be times where things are not going to go right.
do. Mm-hmm.
And we just don't want to lie to clients and say that, well, we built this foundation, everything, and then people are not coming at a faster rate.
Mm-hmm.
And see, a lot of times we just want to tell people that, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that, you
Mm-hmm.
need to do this, and everything is going to be all good. But we just don't want to tell you that you're not going to have hard days, you're not going to have
Mm-hmm.
hard nights. So we want to paint the picture of where do you want to be in the future. So
Mm-hmm.
we sit down and develop a roadmap with 30, 60, 90 days.
Nice.
So we break it down, and then we think about, our color schemes.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also think about how do you effectively want to reach your customer?
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to, how do you want to set yourself apart?
Mm-hmm.
What is your true story?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not just really selling them on that, because really people are going to be drawn into you of how you express and tell them what you've gone through.
Yeah.
And so that was just something that we wanted to distinguish ourselves from everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to own that. That's how we do it.
So good.
Yeah.
All right. So, what we're going to do now, this is the storytelling part of the podcast.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Uh-oh, you ready? Your
Yeah.
head dry.
No, it's just like telling that story. Yes.
And so, as you mentioned, there are the good times of business and life. And,
Yes.
you also have the bad times. Well, I want to say bad times. You just have those lessons that come with life, right? So, as far as your highs, what are some highs you can pat yourself on the back and say, oh, I did that. This is exciting. Or my team and I did that, whatever the case may be.
I would definitely say there have been recent highs, definitely with Cobblematic. We were
Mm-hmm.
able to secure our first contract with an organization in North Carolina
Nice.
with this Every Dot Black, and it's a mastermind group.
Uh-huh.
And so we were able to secure this contract with being able to design websites for the members that come in.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we were able, there wasn't nobody in the group that designed.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just like, it was a super opening for us because we didn't even know that we were the only design team there.
Mm-hmm.
So they offered it to us, being able to design. And we just felt like that came out of nowhere because all we did was just researched and found different, Black organizations
Mm-hmm.
that were on Eventbrite.
Okay.
And so we just wanted to be, a part of, a mastermind group that we could be accountable for, that we
Mm-hmm.
could give tips on, that we could speak for. And, all out of the blue, the founder had reached out to us and was offering us, this contract. And so we just didn't even ask for it. So I was just very proud of that.
That's beautiful. Congrats.
Yes. And the next thing was being able to have, honestly, opportunities come like slowly but surely, not just with the Greenwood District,
Mm-hmm.
but not also being able to design for an upcoming shoe.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
exciting.
So we kind of don't want to give it away just yet.
Just give me a little sprinkle.
Yeah, just a little bit. So for this company, it's based out of in Florida.
So you're like not just here locally. You're
Yes.
pretty much nationwide.
Oh, yeah, it's starting to get to that point. And so for us, I just can't thank my team enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's only just been the three of us total, but my social media manager, I just can't thank, the person enough. Mr. Rowland, for definitely helping me out, definitely coming in, doing things for Dallas Means Business.
Mm-hmm.
It's just definitely been amazing, and I just couldn't have done it without him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just been, those have only been the two major things for us, but there's been, other small things, but we making it happen. So it is just
Yes.
definitely stay tuned because you're going to see a lot more.
I know that's right.
Yeah. So
And so on the opposite end of the spectrum, we also have our low moments where it kind of questions us if we should continue with this journey or if we should just back out and just, nah, I don't think this is for me. So, what would be a low moment for you where you questioned it? And then on the part B side of it, how did you push through? Because, of course, you're still doing it. You know, you have a team at this point, you're getting contracts, more contracts, like you mentioned, y'all gonna see more of Marcus.
Yes.
So, what was a low moment and how did you push through?
The low moment had came, I would say, 2 years ago when I was originally working for the University of Texas, which is in Dallas, Richardson.
Mm-hmm.
And so the low moment had came when, I left and I just kind of really didn't have no sense of direction at that point because I've been working in the food and beverage industry for a long time. And I
Mm-hmm.
had worked my way up and then it felt like I, you know, knocked myself down, a few flights of stairs.
Mm-hmm.
And so I felt like it was time to get back into design.
Mm-hmm.
But yet I was out of the game for years because I didn't necessarily do it for like 10 years.
Wow.
And so it was kind of the low moment where it's like if I pursue this and it's like, where am I going to begin? Because so much has changed in the
Mm-hmm.
industry.
Mm-hmm.
And so being able to think about just educating myself on what's new, what people are doing.
Mm-hmm.
It took a lot.
Yeah.
And so I decided from day one that I was going to align myself with the right people,
Mm-hmm.
be open to getting, educated on new softwares um, quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wasn't going to be hesitant and be like, I don't have time for this. I don't want to do this and all. I really wanted to make the time to be coachable because it was so crucial, especially in business. We're just so turned off because we don't have the time, we don't want to do things.
Yeah.
But you got to be coachable and be
Mm-hmm.
able to make the time for the things that you want.
True.
And so I was able to do that. And so I was able to get up to speed, with most of the things. And of course, you're still learning. But for me, I was very proud of getting back into the technology firm um, because I knew that with the pandemic, it was, either we get back into this or we're just going to stay right where we're at.
Yeah.
And I think, God for showing me like a new light
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the tunnel because automation tech was just going to be the way to go. And I wanted to utilize my degree and, stay current. So that was just kind of the low point for me, but it's resulted to a high point.
That's
So,
so beautiful.
yes.
All right. And so for the listeners, I always ask for one free advice from the guest. It could be life, it could be business, whatever the case may be. I feel like certain times people pay so much money for consultations and going to different seminars and they don't receive anything from it, right?
Right.
But I feel with conversations like this, people receive the most value because we're just being genuine, we're being authentic with one another.
Hmm.
And so, with that being stated, I created this segment just for the guests to just give a little bit more advice to our listeners. So, what's one free advice? Just one more tidbit for the people.
Well, I would honestly say for those of you that are really on the fence of pursuing something new,
Mm-hmm.
going into a new direction, and whether it's a new job, whether it's building that business, getting that foundation, don't be turned off and don't be afraid to really jump into it, especially during this pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
I know that things may be rough now, but to be honest, it's going to continue to get rough. And I'm just going to keep it real that we have to get past the point where we're not looking for someone to get a handout from. We got to be able to
Yes,
take the initiative and do it ourselves.
that's right.
So we got to persevere in the obstacles that get in our way. And I had to learn that so many times over. And now that I'm older, I'm more wiser.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we don't learn those lessons until those lessons are being forced on us.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
for most of you that have gone through things during this pandemic, I must stress that you got to really pursue that dream. You got to
Mm-hmm.
pursue that passion.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the passion by itself is not always just going to be what gets you there, but it's going to take work. It's going to take
Mm-hmm.
effort. It's going to take those long nights. It's going to take that sacrifice. And
Mm-hmm.
I've made all those. And we're at the beginning stage where we're starting to make, huge gains. We're starting to make huge marks in the tech
Yes.
world. And so those life lessons that I've learned at a young age, being able to lose everything and gain it back, I can't stress enough that going through those things has really taught me so many things. And I just want to leave y'all with that you got to be able to get through the hardship to see the blessings in life.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
That was just really, really good. Okay. So what is upcoming for Marcus? I know the podcast, you have the Cobbomatic business. You just have a lot of things, as I mentioned. I keep mentioning because the man is busy. Okay.
Yes.
So what is next for you?
What's upcoming for me is being able to continue to work my brand, to really build it up, to see it successful. I see my company getting to a 6-person operation, and that's including myself. I really want to make Cobblematic that one-stop shop for the Black community to come and do things with. But also, I really want to build a good representation in the Black media space. And also, what I didn't mention, I just want to give a shout out to everyone who is in the Black space as far as the Black media, that this month is Happy Black Media Appreciation Month. And so I want to wish everyone, that, and then you as well.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So for me, it's just being able to get to know the community, the Black media space a lot more. I want to be able to do more interviews. I want to be able to interact with you more and just building that speaking platform. Because
Mhm.
long term, you want to be able to get from being not just the owner, but the producer, and being able to bring on upcoming talent
That's
that's
right.
up um, that's behind you. I want to
Mhm.
be able to educate, my kids that are, coming, that, daddy is building this foundation for you, and I want you to take over and build something, even better that I've done. So
Mhm.
it's all about really building that foundation for the generations to come. And so that's all about, wealth and definitely Black media. That's how we're going to make it work.
Come on. So good. Okay. So, as far as websites, social media, how can people get in touch with you, even to, consultations, all that good stuff?
Well, definitely, if you want to reach out to me, you definitely can reach me out on LinkedIn for Cobbomatic, which is, of course, www.linkedin.com/Cobbomatic. I do have my YouTube channel, which is the Cobb channel, as well as definitely Facebook, Marcus Cobb, um, Instagram.
With the K.
Yes, definitely. And Dallas Means Business. So we have just two channels on Instagram.
Okay.
So Marcus Cobb and Instagram. And so we also are able to do the Greenwood District. So definitely follow me, and I can definitely give you the website for that. So it's just 4 places that you can reach me at. So
He
make it
gave it to
work.
you. Y'all
Yes.
support him. He gave it to you.
Yes.
Okay, so I always end each episode with a motivational moment. If that means a Bible verse, a quote, anything that just came by and I was like, oh, that was beautiful, and bring it on the show. So today is a quote. Are you ready? I'm
Yes.
going to share my thoughts and you share your thoughts, okay? The best way to predict the future is to create it. I'm going to repeat it one more time for the people. The best way to predict the future is to create it, by Peter Drucker. I think I'm saying that right, Drucker. Yeah, with the D. So when I first read it, to me, it's like you can't, I don't want to say success. You can't fulfill yourself by just sitting down and not doing anything.
Correct.
If you don't put actions to your dreams, it's only going to stay a dream.
That's right.
If you don't get up and move, then you're going to become lazy, you're going to be complacent, and you're going to allow these days to go by to when you look back, you're going to be like, okay, I can't blame anybody but myself. And so, in order to create a better future for your legacy, for yourself, even for your family, excuse me, I know for me, my biggest thing is to give back to my family because they supported me so much during this time of me transitioning to be an entrepreneur. For people that know me, I stay with my mom. So I want to be able to buy groceries. I want to be able to pay a light bill. I want to be able to do certain things for her because she's looking out for me.
That's right.
And so for you, when you hear this quote, what do you think about?
I think about so many sacrifices that I made to create the best life that that I wanted to have in Texas. So with all the sacrifices that I did back home in Maryland, Bmore, and in Atlanta, it's propelled me to celebrate my success. At this point, and it took so many years to get to that stage, and the life lessons learned was nothing was going to flourish in my life if I didn't, take action and really stand up and be like, I don't want life to happen to me. I'm going to get out there and create it. I'm going to get out there and hustle. I'm going to make things happen. I'm going to get around the right people. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
join and I'm going to speak. I'm going to create this.
Mm-hmm.
Without those actions, life was just going to come at me, sideways. It was going to throw me a curveball. And without those, you know, having those sacrifices, it was just, I think that things would have just been rough.
Yeah.
And I could have just stayed in my place. Um, when things were down, things were rough, but I didn't allow that.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to create my dream and be fulfilled in so many ways.
Yeah.
And I think so many people get to a stage where they're comfortable, they
Mm-hmm.
become complacent,
Mm-hmm.
but at the end of the day, they're not elevating to that next step. And
Yes.
unless you, to be all honest, you need to be elevating and learning new skills each and every year for you to get to that next step. And so you cannot let, a job promotion or one thing that's positive be the all end all be all. So you got to keep going. You got to keep challenging yourself. You got to be able to see the hardships for what they are. So it's
Mm-hmm.
the roadblocks are just stepping stones, but there's always going to be that challenge. So I stress to you to really see that for what it is, and keep moving forward.
That's a blessing.
Yes,
That's a blessing.
yes,
Well, that's it, Marcus. Did you have any? I mean, you've given us a lot today, but do you have
yes.
any last thoughts? Anything that you feel like you forgot to talk about? Anything I forgot to ask? This is your time to share.
Honestly, I just there's so much more you could share and everything,
Mm-hmm.
but for all of you that are just out there, definitely in the Black media space, I just congratulate each and every last one of you for keep striving, keep going for that dream. It's just going to get better, for a lot of us. I'm excited for the things to come,
Mm-hmm.
and definitely I'm ready to keep challenging myself, not just in leadership, but just being able to be out there a lot more. And I'm hoping to see more of you get into this space, being able to speak and tell your story. So that's what I say.
Well, I just want to thank you so much for coming on, sharing your story, sharing
Yes.
these tidbits and blessings with us. And we just want to say thank you so much.
Thank y'all. It's so much.
All right. Well, actually, this is a Wild Card Wednesday, so we just want to thank you for being on a Wild Card Wednesday. If you're listening to this morning, noon, evening, or night, before I say, I'm just so excited that I always get it right every time. But anyway, if you're listening to this morning, noon, evening, or night, thank you guys for tuning into What's Good podcast, and we see you guys next Monday.